Everything that humanity has ever accomplished, every great empire built, every invention that changed the course of history, every fortune amassed, was born from one invisible, yet irresistible force is desire. Not a passing wish, not a fleeting hope, but a burning, pulsating, consuming desire that refused to accept defeat. The moment a man or woman allows this inner flame to ignite, something extraordinary begins to happen. The mind awakens, ideas appear, courage strengthens, and the world itself seems to rearrange to make room for that person's vision. Every achievement, every dream fulfilled, every great success that has ever been realized began with one simple yet powerful force, desire. It is the first cause of all creation, the invisible spark that turns a mere thought into a tangible result. Desire is the starting point of all achievement, because without it, there is no motion, no effort, no will to act. It is the inner flame that gives birth to purpose, vision, and ambition. Without desire, a person drifts aimlessly, waiting for chance to deliver something that can only be earned through the fire of intent. Desire is not a wish. Wishing is passive. It floats without direction, fading as quickly as it appears. Desire, on the other hand, burns deep within the soul. It is emotional, powerful, and persistent. It creates restlessness in the heart, a refusal to remain as one is. When a person is consumed by a definite desire, it awakens the sleeping faculties of the mind and compels action. The individual no longer accepts the ordinary, but begins to see beyond the limits of the present moment. He or she begins to ask, "What must I do to achieve this?" And that question alone sets in motion the process of transformation. Desire transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary because it changes the state of mind. It gives direction to thought, and thought is the foundation of all creation. The one who desires sincerely begins to think in alignment with their goal. Their thoughts attract opportunities, ideas, and circumstances that lead toward its realization. The mind becomes magnetized with the object of desire, drawing from the unseen forces of the universe everything necessary to fulfill it. The law is simple. Whatever you truly desire with all your heart, you move toward, and it moves toward you. The strength of desire determines the size of success. A weak desire produces weak results. Just as a faint flame gives little warmth, but a burning desire, one that dominates every waking moment, has the power to pierce through any obstacle. History is filled with those who achieved greatness not because they were born with talent, but because their desire would not allow them to quit. The scientist who spends years in failure before discovering a cure. The entrepreneur who endures countless setbacks before building an empire. The artist who continues despite rejection. All are driven by an unshakable desire to see their vision realized. When desire takes hold of the mind, it begins to translate itself into plans, action, and persistence. It ignites faith, courage, and determination. It becomes a constant reminder that something greater is possible. The person possessed by desire does not ask whether success is possible. They assume it is and begin working as though it were already theirs. This belief, born from strong desire, becomes the foundation of achievement. Desire pushes a person to act when logic says stop, to believe when doubt whispers failure, and to rise again when the world seems against them. There is no substitute for desire. Knowledge, skill, opportunity, all are useless without it. A man may have every resource in the world, but if he lacks desire, he will accomplish little. Yet a person with burning desire can begin with nothing and still reach heights unimaginable. Desire gives life to vision, strength to will, and endurance to faith. It is the heartbeat of achievement. Therefore, if you wish to achieve anything great in life, you must first awaken a definite desire within yourself. Let it become your obsession. Feel it so deeply that it consumes your mind and directs your every thought. When you desire something with all your being, you set into motion forces greater than yourself. The world bends to the will of the one whose desire burns fiercely enough. That is the beginning of all miracles, the foundation of every success story, the power of a burning desire. Desire alone, no matter how powerful, remains a wild and untamed force until it is given direction. Clarity turns desire into power. A vague longing can stir emotion, but it cannot command the forces of the mind or the universe. To achieve anything meaningful, one must know precisely what is desired, down to the smallest detail. A clear purpose transforms energy into focus, and focus transforms potential into achievement. Without clarity, desire is like a ship without a compass, adrift, moved by every wind, but never arriving at a destination. When you know exactly what you want, Your mind begins to organize itself around that aim. Thoughts align with purpose, decisions become simpler, and distractions lose their hold. The subconscious mind, that silent worker beneath the surface, responds best to precision. It cannot act effectively on vague impulses such as, I want to be successful, or I wish to be rich. It requires a definite picture, a vision so sharp and alive that it stirs emotion every time it is recalled. The clearer the image, the stronger the signal your mind sends to the world, attracting ideas and opportunities that match your aim. Clarity is the bridge between desire and manifestation. It gives form to thought, and form gives rise to action. The man who can define his desire with precision already stands ahead of the one who merely dreams in generalities. When the goal is defined, how much, by when, and for what reason, the mind begins to work like a magnet. It filters information, notices patterns, and guides the individual toward choices that align with that desire. What once seemed coincidence is, in truth, the natural consequence of mental clarity. The process of gaining clarity begins with self-examination. Ask yourself, what do I truly want? Why do I want it? What am I willing to give in exchange for it? Many people fail not because they lack ambition, but because they pursue borrowed desires, goals inherited from society, family, or the opinions of others. True clarity comes from aligning your goal with your own deepest values. When your desire matches your inner nature, it ignites an energy that never fades. It feels natural, exciting, and inevitable. Clarity also brings discipline. When your mind is fixed on one definite purpose, you learn to say no to the unnecessary. Every hour, every action, every decision becomes a choice between progress and distraction. You begin to guard your time as a treasure, using it to move steadily toward your goal. In this way, clarity creates power, not the brute power of force, but the refined power of direction. It eliminates confusion, builds confidence, and channels all your mental and emotional energy into one unstoppable current. The difference between a wandering thought and a focused intention is the difference between a spark and a laser. A spark can start a fire, but a laser can cut through steel. The human mind, when focused with clarity, gains the same precision. It cuts through doubt, fear, and limitation. It sees possibilities that others miss because its attention is not scattered. Every great leader, inventor, or creator in history possessed this quality. They saw, in vivid mental pictures, the result they sought long before the world saw it. Once clarity has been achieved, it must be held steadily. The world will test your focus with distractions and delays. But if your vision is sharp enough, these disturbances will only strengthen your determination. Review your goal daily. See it, feel it, believe it. Let it become so real in your imagination that it feels inevitable. When your desire gains clarity, your path gains direction, and your actions gain meaning. Clarity turns wishful thinking into power thinking. It transforms the chaos of random wants into a single guiding purpose. It gives order to effort, confidence to thought, and certainty to faith. The man or woman who knows exactly what they want is already halfway there, for clarity itself is power, the power to direct the mind, to command destiny, and to bring any desire into tangible reality. Faith is the fuel that gives life to desire. Without faith, even the strongest ambition remains fragile, easily broken by doubt or fear. But when belief joins hands with desire, it transforms into a power that nothing can stop. Faith is not mere hope. It is an unshakable knowing, a conviction that what you seek already exists and is moving toward you. It is the invisible bridge between thought and reality, the unseen energy that connects your inner vision with outer manifestation. Every person who has ever achieved greatness has done so because they believed they could, even when the world said they could not. Faith begins in the mind, but it reaches its full power in emotion. You can repeat words of belief endlessly, but unless you feel them in your heart, they remain empty. Real faith vibrates through the body. It changes your tone, your confidence, and your presence. It gives you a quiet certainty that defies logic. This kind of faith cannot be taught. It must be cultivated through experience, persistence, and the refusal to accept defeat. Each small success strengthens it, and each challenge tests it until it becomes unbreakable. The power of faith lies in its ability to silence doubt. Doubt is the assassin of dreams. It whispers that your goal is impossible, that you are unworthy, or that success is for others, not for you. Faith answers those whispers with a single truth. If the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. When you truly believe in your vision, You no longer see obstacles. You see stepping stones. You stop waiting for the perfect conditions, because faith teaches you that conditions are created by action, not by luck. Faith also awakens the creative forces of the subconscious mind. The subconscious does not reason. It accepts as true whatever you believe deeply. When faith fills your mind, it begins to attract people, circumstances, and opportunities aligned with your belief. It guides your thoughts toward solutions and ideas you could never have seen otherwise. This is why faith is so essential. It aligns the visible and invisible parts of your being toward one definite purpose. Without faith, the conscious mind hesitates. The subconscious remains dormant, and progress halts before it begins. The greatest obstacle to faith is fear. Fear of failure, fear of criticism, fear of loss. All of these poison the soil in which belief should grow. But here lies the paradox. Faith itself is the antidote to fear. The moment you begin to act as though your success is inevitable, fear loses its power. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the triumph of faith over it. Each time you take action in spite of doubt, you feed your faith and weaken your fear. Faith is also contagious. The person who walks with confidence, who speaks with conviction, inspires belief in others. People are drawn to certainty. They instinctively follow those who believe deeply in what they are doing. When your own faith is strong, it not only propels you forward, but attracts others who will help you along your journey. Partnerships form, resources appear, and doors open, all because faith radiates a magnetic energy that invites success. The most powerful faith is not blind, but conscious. It is built on understanding, persistence, and alignment with purpose. You develop it by affirming your vision daily, acting on your belief, and refusing to give up when results seem slow. Faith grows through use, like a muscle strengthened by resistance. The more you trust your vision and take consistent steps toward it, the more reality bends in your favor. Faith is the master key to achievement. It turns desire into certainty, thought into manifestation, and effort into destiny. The one who believes with all their heart and acts with all their might becomes unstoppable, because faith transforms limitations into illusions and turns the impossible into the inevitable. Action is the heartbeat of achievement. Without it, even the greatest dreams remain trapped in the mind, waiting to be born. Desire gives direction, faith provides strength, but action gives life. It is through movement, decision, and persistent effort that invisible thought becomes visible reality. The world rewards those who do, not merely those who wish. Every castle ever built began with a single stone laid by hand, and every success story began with one step taken toward a definite purpose. Many people fail not because they lack ambition, but because they never translate thought into action. They wait for the perfect moment, the right conditions, or a sign that guarantees success. But the truth is, no perfect moment will ever arrive. The universe responds to motion. The instant you act with conviction, unseen forces begin to move in your favor. Opportunity reveals itself not before you act, but because you act. The door to success does not open for those who stand and stare at it. It opens for those who knock and keep knocking. Action transforms faith into evidence. It proves to the world and to yourself that your belief is real. When you act, even in uncertainty, you send a powerful message to your subconscious mind. I am serious. That command triggers creativity, persistence, and inner confidence. The act itself, however small, ignites momentum. One step leads to another, and soon the impossible begins to look inevitable. Progress, no matter how modest, feeds motivation, and motivation in turn fuels further action. Action has a way of clarifying direction. You cannot wait to know everything before you begin. You learn as you move. Every mistake teaches. Every setback sharpens your judgment. And every small victory builds strength. Those who hesitate for fear of failure miss the most valuable teacher of all, experience. There is wisdom that can only be gained through doing. Books can inspire, mentors can guide, but only personal effort can bring mastery. You must be willing to act, to fall, and to rise again, because success is not a single leap. It is a rhythm of repeated effort. True action demands courage. The path of achievement is filled with uncertainty. You may not see the entire road, but you must trust that the next step will reveal itself once you take the first. This is the essence of courage, not the absence of fear, but the decision to move forward despite it. Every great accomplishment in history was made by someone who acted when others hesitated. The world belongs to those who dare to take action when the outcome is uncertain. Action is also the force that transforms intention into habit. When you repeat a behavior in alignment with your goal, it becomes automatic. Habits are the engines of destiny. The person who acts daily toward their vision does not rely on motivation, they rely on momentum. They do not wait to feel ready. They act first and readiness follows. Consistency, not occasional bursts of effort, builds the foundation of lasting success. There is magic in acting with purpose. Each time you take decisive action toward your goal, you align yourself with the creative forces of the universe. Circumstances shift, people appear, and opportunities unfold, almost as if the world conspires to assist you. This is not coincidence. It is the law of cause and effect. When you plant seeds of effort, you must eventually reap a harvest of results. Action is the great equalizer. It does not care about your background, education, or resources. It only demands commitment. A small, consistent action taken daily outweighs the grand plans that never leave the paper. The dreamer who acts will always surpass the genius who hesitates. To master the art of success, one must make action a way of life. Think clearly, believe deeply, and then move with purpose. Do not wait for permission, for the right moment, or for certainty. Act boldly, for action is the proof of faith, the expression of desire, and the path to every victory. The difference between the one who dreams and the one who achieves is simple. The achiever acted. Persistence is the invisible thread that ties all success together. It is the quality that separates those who merely wish from those who win, those who start from those who finish. When everything seems against you, when results are slow and the road ahead feels endless, persistence is what keeps your desire alive. It is the quiet, stubborn refusal to quit. It is the decision to rise one more time after every fall, to try again when logic says it's over. Every great success story is written in the ink of persistence. Desire ignites the flame of ambition, but persistence keeps it burning through the storms of doubt and failure. Many people begin with strong enthusiasm, but as soon as difficulties appear, they lose heart. The truly successful individual, however, understands that every obstacle is merely a test of determination. Life asks a simple question to all dreamers: how badly do you want it? The answer is not spoken in words, it is proven through persistence. The one who persists long after the excitement fades demonstrates that their desire is real. Persistence transforms adversity into power. Every setback carries within it a lesson. Those who quit miss the wisdom hidden inside temporary defeat, but those who persist extract its value and become stronger. Failure is not the opposite of success, it is a part of it. Each failed attempt is a stepping stone toward mastery. The person who persists learns what does not work until only what works remains. Like a sculptor chiseling away at stone, persistence shapes the rough material of effort into the masterpiece of achievement. The secret of persistence lies in purpose. When your goal burns brightly in your heart, it gives you strength to endure. The one who knows why they must succeed can bear almost anyhow. Purpose fuels perseverance. If your dream is clear and deeply felt, persistence becomes natural. You cannot stop because your soul will not let you. You may grow tired, but not defeated. You may slow down, but you will not turn back. The world tests every great dream with resistance. Obstacles, failures, and disappointments are not punishments. They are filters separating the weak from the strong, the half-hearted from the committed. The universe yields its treasures only to those who prove themselves worthy by refusing to quit. Persistence is that proof. It is the language of conviction. When life sees that you will not be broken, it eventually surrenders its rewards. Persistence also builds character. It teaches patience, self-discipline, and resilience. Each time you persist through difficulty, you grow mentally tougher. You learn to trust yourself, to remain calm under pressure, and to see challenges as opportunities rather than threats. These inner qualities become permanent assets, far more valuable than the goal itself. Because once you have persistence, you can achieve anything, no matter how impossible it seems at first. There is a rhythm to persistence. It is the art of moving forward one step at a time. You do not need to conquer the entire mountain today. You only need to take the next step. Each effort, no matter how small, compounds over time. Slowly but surely, consistent persistence transforms dreams into achievements. It does not matter how slowly you move, as long as you do not stop. Those who persist develop an inner voice that says, I will find a way. That voice becomes louder than doubt, stronger than fear, and clearer than the noise of failure. With persistence, you no longer depend on motivation or luck. You depend on will, and willpower, when guided by purpose, can move mountains. In the end, persistence is not just a habit. It is a declaration of faith. It says to the world, I will not be defeated. Every person who has ever reached greatness has faced moments of despair, yet they persisted. And when they did, something miraculous happened. The impossible became possible, and the dream became real. Persistence is the bridge between desire and success, the power that turns ordinary effort into extraordinary achievement. Imagination is the workshop of the mind where all plans, dreams, and achievements are born. It is the power that transforms invisible thought into visible reality. Everything you see around you, buildings, inventions, art, technology, and even the systems that govern the world, once existed only as an image in someone's imagination. Desire gives you the energy to move forward, faith gives you belief, but imagination gives you direction. It takes raw desire and molds it into a plan, a vision, a method. Without imagination, desire remains a shapeless force with no way to express itself in the world. The human mind has two functions: the reasoning mind, which analyzes what is, and the imaginative mind, which creates what can be. Most people live only within the limits of the reasoning mind, repeating the patterns they see around them. But the few who use their imagination rise above circumstances and create new realities. They do not accept the world as it is. They use their imagination to design the world as it could be. The greatest discoveries and inventions in history were not made by those who followed logic alone, but by those who dared to imagine the impossible. Imagination gives form to faith. It allows you to see your goal as already achieved, to visualize the end result with such clarity that your subconscious mind begins to accept it as fact. When the mind accepts an image as real, it starts working automatically to make it so. This is why the power of imagination is essential to achievement. It bridges the gap between the unseen and the seen, between the dream and its fulfillment. The clearer the mental picture, the faster the creative forces of your mind move to bring it into reality. There are two types of imagination, synthetic and creative. Synthetic imagination rearranges existing ideas, combining known facts and experiences in new ways. It is what an engineer uses to improve a machine or a business person uses to refine a strategy. Creative imagination, on the other hand, goes beyond the known. It is the channel through which inspiration flows, the means by which the human mind connects with infinite intelligence. It is the source of all great art, invention, and genius. When desire is strong and faith is alive, creative imagination becomes active, providing flashes of insight and sudden solutions that seem to come from nowhere. To use imagination effectively, one must first believe in its power. Many people suppress their imagination, thinking it to be fantasy or childish dreaming. Yet every great achievement begins as a fantasy in the mind of a believer. The difference between a dreamer and a creator is action. When imagination is combined with desire, faith, and persistence, it becomes creation. The mind conceives, the heart believes, and the hands achieve. Imagination also serves as a guide through difficulty. When failure strikes or the path seems uncertain, the imaginative mind finds new ways forward. It sees possibilities where others see obstacles. While fear limits the mind, imagination expands it, turning barriers into challenges and challenges into opportunities. The person who trains their imagination learns to turn every setback into a stepping stone. Developing imagination requires practice. You must train your mind to visualize clearly and think beyond your current circumstances. Set aside time to imagine your ideal future. See it, feel it, and believe it. Picture the details, the success, the surroundings, the emotions. The more vividly you imagine, the more your subconscious begins to work toward that vision. Imagination thrives in a calm, confident mind. Doubt clouds it, belief nourishes it. Imagination is the blueprint of destiny. It allows you to design your life instead of drifting through it. When guided by purpose and sustained by desire, imagination becomes a creative force that shapes reality itself. Every great success begins with someone daring to imagine something greater. If you can see it in your mind and feel it in your heart, you are already halfway to achieving it. For imagination is not merely the art of seeing things that are not yet real. It is the power that makes them real. Action is the bridge between dreams and reality. Without it, desire remains a wish, faith remains a thought, and imagination remains a picture. Every great achievement in human history began when someone decided not only to dream, but to move. The world rewards the person who acts, who dares to take the first step while others are still thinking. Desire gives the fire, faith provides the belief. Imagination shapes the vision, but only action transforms all three into something tangible and powerful. Action is the true test of belief. Many people say they believe in their dreams, but their lack of movement betrays them. If you truly believe in something, you act on it, even when the path is uncertain. Faith without action is like a seed left unplanted. It can never grow. The person who acts, even imperfectly, moves closer to their goal with each effort, learning and adjusting along the way. The one who waits for perfect timing or perfect conditions never begins at all. The universe moves for those who move. Action is not about speed. It is about direction and consistency. Small, persistent actions have greater power than bursts of effort followed by long pauses. The mind creates momentum through repetition, through the steady discipline of doing something each day that brings you closer to your purpose. Action builds confidence, while inaction breeds doubt. Every time you act, you strengthen your belief that success is possible. Every time you hesitate, you strengthen the chains of fear and indecision. Courage is the companion of action. Many hesitate because they fear failure, criticism, or uncertainty. Yet courage does not mean the absence of fear. It means acting despite it. Great achievers are not fearless. They simply refuse to let fear control them. They understand that mistakes are not defeats but teachers. Each failure brings wisdom, and each setback contains the seed of a greater success. Those who take action learn, adapt, and grow, while those who avoid risk remain stuck in the same place, forever wondering what might have been. Action also brings clarity. You can think and plan endlessly, but you will never know the true path until you begin to walk it. The act of doing reveals opportunities that thought alone cannot uncover. When you move toward your goal, unseen forces begin to assist you. People, ideas, and resources appear when you need them most. This is not coincidence, but the natural response of the universe to decisive action. It is as if life itself bends to support those who take bold, purposeful steps. Another truth about action is that it multiplies energy. When you act, you ignite enthusiasm. When you remain idle, your energy fades. Procrastination drains your spirit, while movement restores it. Even small actions can rekindle the fire of desire and renew your faith. Each completed step creates momentum for the next. The journey of success does not begin with a giant leap. It begins with one small, confident step taken in the direction of your dream. Finally, action transforms you. Every time you act with purpose, you become stronger, wiser, and more capable. You begin to see yourself as a creator rather than a dreamer. You realize that the power to shape your destiny lies not in wishing, but in doing. Action is the proof of desire, the expression of faith, and the fulfillment of imagination. It is the force that gives life to all other principles. If you wish to turn your dreams into achievements, do not wait for the perfect moment. The perfect moment is now. Act while the fire of desire still burns, while faith still whispers that it is possible. Move forward, even if the path is uncertain. The world belongs to the doers, the believers who take action. For it is not thought alone that builds empires or creates miracles. It is thought followed by action, persistently and passionately applied, that changes everything.